Hey y'all, welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. On Monday, I made some goulash. I did cut this recipe in half, but for my ingredients, I have 1 pound of ground beef that I pulled from my freezer and let thaw. And then we have some olive oil and minced garlic, some elbow macaroni noodles, and then a can of tomato sauce and diced tomatoes. For my seasonings, I have some onion powder, bay leaves, Italian seasoning, seasoned salt, pepper, and in that white container is my homemade adobo seasoning. And then the recipe called for some beef broth. Instead, I just used water and some of this beef powder that I had. And then we have some mozzarella cheese and sharp cheddar cheese. I will have this recipe linked below, but now I'm going to show you how I put this together. I topped the bowls with some shredded mozzarella cheese, and this was so flavorful and delicious. We loved it, including the kids, and that is always a winner in my book. Josh and the kids are going to be having that leftover goulash from yesterday, and I wanted to make myself a spaghetti squash, so that's what I'm doing. First off, I have just split open my spaghetti squash and scooped out all the seeds, and I've drizzled some olive oil and salt and pepper. And now I'm just going to put this face down on my baking sheet, and I'm just going to let that roast at 400 for about 35 to 40 minutes. I just pulled this out of the oven, and I'm going to let it cool down for a little bit before I shred it up and then add it into my mixing bowl. But also for the filling, I'm going to be adding in some cream of chicken, some sour cream, and the recipe calls for salsa. I hate onions, so I always substitute taco sauce for that. Some taco seasoning, some Fiesta blend cheese, and in my freezer I had some leftover shredded rotisserie chicken that I'm going to be finishing up, and then this random chicken breast. I'm just going to kind of dice that up and throw it in, and then I'm going to stuff all of that back into these spaghetti squash boats, top it with cheese. I'm going to bake it for 15 more minutes. How good does this look, guys? I am so excited. I will definitely have this recipe linked in the description box. And that is my dinner for Tuesday. Wednesday, I made these mini corn dog muffins, and they were so good, and they were a huge hit with the kids. So for the cornbread batter, first I just whisked together my wet ingredients, which was some melted butter, sugar, eggs, and buttermilk. And then I start to add in my dry ingredients, which was a mix of cornmeal, flour, baking soda, and salt. And then for the hot dogs, I'm using ballpark beef franks, and I just cut those into bite-sized pieces. And I have a tablespoon that I'm going to be measuring out the cornmeal into these little mini muffin tins that I have sprayed really well with Pam. And then I just stick the little hot dog bites down into the batter, and that is it. Easy peasy. I served those with a side of ketchup, and then I also had some apples that I needed to use up, so I sliced some of those up. And then I also made some air fryer potatoes. So all I did was take a couple russet potatoes and I scrubbed the skins really well, and then I just diced it up and I drizzled it with some olive oil and I seasoned it with garlic, salt, and pepper, and I just gave those a good stir. And then I tossed them into my air fryer basket and I cooked that at 400 for 30 minutes, and I did shake the basket quite often. So the kids are having dinner a little bit earlier than us tonight. Our food is still in the oven cooking and they are hungry now, so they don't like pork chops or baked potatoes, so I made them some chicken nuggets and fries in the air fryer. I just cooked those at the same time. And I'm using the Kirkwood brand from Aldi, the Safari chicken nuggets. And I've tried so many different frozen chicken nuggets, different brands, and they just don't seem to care for them, but they do like these, so I'm definitely going to keep rebuying those. And Boston has some blueberries and Riley has some cut up strawberries. I made Josh and I some ranch pork chops. They were so yummy. All I did was take 2 pork chops and I just trimmed off all the fat, and then I just coated them in ranch dressing on front and back, and then I pressed them into a mix of Parmesan cheese and some Italian breadcrumbs, and then I just put those on top of a baking rack on top of a cookie sheet, and I sprayed the baking rack really good with some nonstick cooking spray, and then I just popped those in my oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. I served mine with some steamed broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, and then for Josh, I made him a baked potato, and he does not really care for steamed veggies, but he forced himself to eat some of it. But that was our dinner for Thursday. I'm about to make some cinnamon toast. I haven't had cinnamon toast since probably elementary school. I used to love it, and I kind of forgot about it, and I saw a picture of it on Facebook the other day, and I knew that I had to put it on my meal plan. So I just have some wheat bread from Aldi, some room temperature butter, my sugar, and my ground cinnamon, and I'm just going to kind of mix those two things together in a little bowl. No certain amount. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And then I'm also going to be making some of this maple syrup sausage, and I'm just going to bake that in the oven as well, just so I have one less skillet to wash. And I'm going to bake both of those at 350 for 10 to 15 minutes. That toast was amazing. I served it with some strawberries, and it was the perfect combo with that cinnamon. And then I have my sausage, and I made 2 over easy eggs, and that was our Friday dinner. It is Saturday morning, and I'm fixing some crock-pot chicken and gravy. So in here, I have a can of cream of chicken, 2 packets of this chicken and gravy mix, and then I just fill this can up with water, and I just whisk that all together. And then over here, I have 2 large chicken breasts, and I have just seasoned that with garlic powder, pepper, and just a little bit of salt. So now I'm just going to put this in here. And then I'm going to put my lid on, and I'm going to cook this on low for 4 hours. When my chicken was fully cooked, I just shredded it up with 2 forks, and then this is optional, but I added in some sour cream just because I had some in my fridge that I wanted to use up, but it tastes just fine without it. But I just combined that in, and it was done. Super, super simple. I served that over some homemade mashed potatoes, and I had a couple of requests for me to show how I make my mashed potatoes, but I had such a busy day on Saturday, I completely forgot. But I've made a note, and I will definitely do that next time. But I also served it with some cornbread muffins using that Jiffy corn muffin mix and some peas. On Sunday, we went out to eat at Sidelines. I got some buffalo chicken tenders, a baked potato with A1 sauce, and some steamed broccoli. And that wraps up this week. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some inspiration. If you are new here, don't forget to tap that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see y'all next week.